A very warm welcome to you as you join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Pearl Nameka, and with me is Chiamaka, fresh from Bauchi.
Yes, I'm Mint Fresh from Bauchi, where the movers and shakers of taxation in Nigeria gathered for the 142nd meeting of the Joint Tax Board. Of course, as you would expect, the full complement of the crew of Tax Matters was there to bring you the story. Perhaps we should begin by playing to you something from the host governor.
Let me thank the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, for bringing JTB to Bauchi. It is a very, very important issue for us, particularly since, as you well know, we are located within the northeastern sub-region. There are a lot of speculations, especially outside the northern parts of Nigeria, when any occasion arises that entails traveling to any state of the northeast. You'll be shocked as to what you get to hear on the streets, especially in some southern capitals, southern parts of Nigeria, about what is happening up here. So it's very, very important for us that you are here and you have seen for yourselves. And the importance is underscored by the fact that you're all very, very important people back in your states. And when you speak, people will listen. And now you have come, you have seen. Take back the good stories to your various states. Inform them that we are hospitable, that we are safe, that we are secure. Most importantly, that we are ready to do business.
Yes, indeed, Bauchi is ready for business.
Today's episode of the program will be wholly and exclusively devoted to the story of the 142nd meeting of the Joint Tax Board. Perhaps we should remind you about what the Joint Tax Board stands for. The Joint Tax Board comprises of the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, who doubles as the Chairman of the Board, Chairman of all 36 state revenue boards, the Chairman of the Federal Capital Territory Revenue Board, as well as representatives of the Federal Ministry of Finance, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, the Immigration Service, Federal Road Safety Commission, the Nigeria Customs Service, Nigeria's Governors Forum, and the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN. The JTB meets on a quarterly basis to appraise the performance of members and to deliberate on tax issues of national importance, all in a bid to evolve an efficient tax administration system in Nigeria. The Joint Tax Board endeavors at all times to promote uniformity in application of tax laws with the aim of creating a tax-friendly environment in Nigeria by promoting and ensuring uniformity, harmony, and efficiency in personal income tax administration and in offering advice on general tax matters in Nigeria. Welcome once again. On this episode, we are bringing you the story of the 142nd meeting of the Joint Tax Board held in Bauchi State from the 25th to the 28th of November 2018. Theme was Consolidated Credible Database and Exchange of Information, the Role of Stakeholders. Activities began on the night of Sunday, the 25th of November, with a welcome dinner. And on Monday, the 26th, Governor Mohammed Abubakar received the delegates at Government House, Bauchi.
From the information that we have available on Bauchi State, you have made tremendous strides in terms of IGR. In the last 1 year, your revenue has grown by over 35%. And in terms of comparison with other states, you're among the top 10 out of the 36 states. And I believe this goes without saying that the vision that you have, which led to this drive in increased revenue, is solely to ensure that you can deliver the much required infrastructure development and social services to the good people of Bauchi.
Governor Mohammed Abubakar gave the secret behind the success of the State Revenue Board.
Technology is key. We must go the way of technology. Our people are very, very poor people. There is no way we can overburden them with excessive taxation. But the best we can do is to improve on collection. And one way of doing that is deployment of technology. Another way, of course, is widening the tax net, getting the informal sector into the tax net. I will continue giving support to the executive chairman until we are able to get to a position where we'll have the IGR that will offset our wage bill. It may be a Herculean task, but we'll strive to do it. We have a humongous wage bill of 5.7 billion for a small state in the hinterland of Nigeria.
From Government House, the taxmen and women proceeded to the palace of the Emir of Bauchi, Alhaji Rilwanu Adamu, who was represented by the Madaki Bauchi, Chairman Bauchi State Internal Revenue Service, Alhaji Hussaini Jibo, seized the occasion to re-emphasize the role of traditional institutions in tax collection in days gone by.
In the history of taxation in Nigeria, we know it cannot be completed without tracing the history from the traditional title holders. That is why we play priority to this visit. We notice your contribution to the development of taxation in Nigeria. Whatever we do, we copy from the traditional title holders.
In his speech, Leader of Delegation, Executive Chairman FIRS, Chairman Joint Tax Board made an appeal.
We'd like to thank you for the role that you have played so far, the fatherly role, and we continue to ask that you tell all your followers to also pay their taxes as when due.
Responding on behalf of the Emir of Bauchi, the Madaki Bauchi revealed the depth of knowledge of traditional rulers in tax matters.
We hope you will use your tax as a fiscal policy measure to dampen on some import of goods that we regard as luxury in this country. We also hope that you will also use your tax regime and policy to reduce other goods that are deemed not necessary to be imported in this country. I'm sure tax is important policy that you can use to improve the economy of Nigeria. We hope to continue to abide by your advice that we, as members of the Emirate Council, will use whatever we have to see that we improve revenue collection in Bauchi State.
Later in the day, Governor Mohammed Abubakar was again on hand to perform the formal opening of the 142nd meeting of the Joint Tax Board.
In his welcome address, Chairman Bauchi State Internal Revenue Service gave the scorecard of the board's activities.
His Excellency's support and policy direction have been a stimulant that has raised our professional and indeed operational tragedy. This is glaringly evident with the achievement we have recorded in the following areas. The board has recorded significant rise in revenue collection by 40% in comparison to what was realized last year. We have been able to automate all our collection platform and streamline our activities with other revenue generation MDS. These strategies have helped in inhibiting revenue leakages and truncating the chain of shark practices. The informal tax sector has been successfully integrated into the state tax base, and we are now working closely with community, religion, trade, and artisan union leaders as key stakeholders. In view of this numerous achievement, the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, recently rated Bauchi State IRS as the best in terms of the administration, enforcement, autonomy, automation on its IGR dashboard training held September 2018 at Nigerian Government Forum Secretariat in Abuja.
The giant strides being taken by Bauchi State in the area of internally generated revenue came up for commendation in the speech of the chairman of the Joint Task Board.
While the state may not be one of those that enjoy huge allocations from the Federation account, it is worthy of note and indeed commendable that with the judicious use of federal allocations, together with the optimum management of internally generated revenue, Your Excellency has been able to ensure that you deliver quality governance to the people of Bauchi State. The role of IGR in the success of your administration cannot be overemphasized. Computation of IGR collection for Bauchi State for the 9-month period, January to September 2018, hit 7.04 billion. This figure has already outperformed the full year 2017 IGR figure of 4.36 billion, with a percentage margin of 61.2%.
Mr. Fowler also spoke about the role of JTB in enhancing revenue generation at the subnational level.
At this critical time in the development of our nation, a time where it has become imperative for the nation to look beyond the proceeds of oil, commodity exports and foreign aid to fund development, the JTB is faced with an emerging role of ensuring that the revenue administration process becomes as efficient as possible to optimize the collection of IGR for the respective tiers. We're not unaware of the new trends going on in Texas, where the US government seems ready to open the taps in terms of oil production, and right now the oil price is heading southwards. Furthermore, while we are concerned about the efficiency and effectiveness of the revenue administration process at the domestic level, we're also mindful of the fact that the international tax environment is undergoing significant change. Nigeria being a part of the international community of nations, we must be aware of the dynamics and trends external to our environment so that we can adopt those that will be of relevance and benefit to us and adapt them to our unique realities as a people. This, Your Excellency, is the role of the JTB.
In his keynote address, Governor Mohammed Abubakar spoke on other initiatives aimed at increasing IGR in Bauchi State.
The state revenue generating apparatus has been restructured to an innovative and a technology-driven one that moves at pace with the emerging realities of the tax environment. While I'm comfortable at the pace we're moving in this direction, I believe the meeting offers a wide niche of opportunities for greater improvements. The government is mindful of how difficult collecting taxes could be. That is why I gave the Revenue Board the ability to carry out their activities with full autonomy and strong political backing. We are working towards reviewing our tax laws to further improve our taxes. We are also working towards adopting the Treasury single account system and other robust initiatives that will place us at the appropriate place within the Nigerian tax sphere.
highlight of the opening ceremony of the 142nd meeting of the JTB was the launching of the Bauchi State new internally generated revenue collection and monitoring platform.
In the last 3 months, we dedicated time to understand what is manually done in Bauchi State. We did a lot of work in transforming those manual processes into an electronic solution. Our focus was to enhance the collection and also make it very, very easy for taxpayers. What we've done is to provide different channels of collection for taxpayers. Today, for Bauchi State, you can make payment via your mobile phone. We are not saying that you should go and buy a smartphone. You can use any phone as long as you have a network on it to make payment into Bauchi State coffers. Today, we have enabled Bauchi State such that you can approach any ATM and you'll be able to make payment on those machines. Today, we have enabled Bauchi State to ensure that from the web portal of the State Internal Revenue Services, you can make your payment into the coffers of the state government.
There are other dimensions.
Let's visualize for a moment that a customer enters into the State Development Board and applies for a building permit. Automatically, immediately, it triggers a flag, Internal Revenue Service in the Personal Income Tax Department. Automatically, immediately, it triggers a flag in, for example, the State Emergency Management Agency for safety certification. It can also trigger a flag in the Ministry of Commerce for business permit registration. So it is now we're talking about the exchange of information between all stakeholders, linking and interacting them all together, so that the money that has been slipping through the fingers of government, now government has a 360-degree view of what is happening. And now between the MDAs, they're all relating and collaborating with each other.
The audience was treated to a practical demonstration of the new revenue collection system. In a trailblazing move aimed at impacting the lives of taxpayers and their dependents, the Bauchi State government has initiated a community impact project. As part of the activities of the 142nd JTB meeting, the delegates witnessed the launching of one such project at Kobe Primary School, Bauchi.
As a taxman, you have a challenge to convince the taxpayer what does the government do with their money. It is very difficult to explain because the essence of taxation sometimes is not all about direct benefits, but the taxpayer doesn't understand. So instead for us to be waiting for elephant projects from the state government, we decided, out of our cost of collection, to embark on the corporate social responsibility. This corporate social responsibility, we decided to put it in different areas. We decided to impact on education because if you educate a child, you educate a society.
In an interview, Governor Mohammed Abubakar spoke about the community impact project.
Your Excellency, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We've noticed the giant strides your administration has performed in Bauchi State. What role is tax playing in this aspect?
Well, taxes are just beginning to play a part. In the past, the internally generated revenue was virtually non-existent. But from what you have heard from the experts, in the last 9 months, we have made giant strides in the area of internally generated revenue. So as we go on from here, taxes are going to play a very, very big role. And that was the significance of the project that was commissioned at Kobe Primary School. This is to show taxpayers that that is what their money is going to be used for, to encourage them to be able to pay taxes.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS calls on all corporate organizations operating in Nigeria to register for the purpose of payment of taxes and obtain a tax identification number TIN. All registered companies must obtain a tax identification number immediately from the nearest FIRS office. You can also collect and return tax registration forms from the Federal Inland Revenue Service Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams, FEET, on compliance checks exercise in your area. A company which is yet to commence business after at least 6 months of incorporation must pay a pre-operational levy of 20,000 naira in the first year and 25,000 naira for subsequent years to obtain its tax clearance certificate TCC. Note that filing and payment of VAT and withholding tax returns must be done on or before the 21st day of every month. Register for VAT. File all tax returns as and at when due. Be a responsible corporate citizen of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. We are sharing with you the story of the 142nd meeting of the Joint Tax Board held in Bauchi State from the 25th to the 28th of November 2018.
Tuesday, 27th November 2018, the JTB train moved to Yankari Games Reserve for the twin purpose of holding the meeting and serving the offerings of the foremost Games Reserve in Nigeria. Presentations were made by relevant stakeholders around the theme of the meeting. The presentations were followed by robust discussions, further followed by discussions on various issues relating to enthroning a vibrant tax system in Nigeria. These issues include creation of a credible taxpayer database and exchange of information among revenue authorities, bringing the informal sector into the mainstream tax system, automation of the tax administration system, joint tax audit by federal and state tax authorities, the voluntary offshore assets regularization scheme, VOAS, among others. These issues formed the basis of our interviews with delegates. These will bring you in the very next episode of Tax Matters.
At the end of it all, a communique was issued.
The theme of the meeting was consolidated, credible database and exchange of information, role of stakeholders. The board deliberated on various issues and adopted the following resolutions. 1. Collective and unified solution to tackle the informal sector should be employed for enhanced internally generated revenue, IGR. 2. Effective from 2019, the Joint Tax Board shall publish a quarterly performance report of all the tax authorities in the country. 3. The board reiterates the need for state government to provide enabling environment for state revenue authorities to perform optimally by granting them full financial and administrative autonomy. 4. The board re-emphasized that automation of tax administration is key to enhance internally generated revenue of the states and requested all states to ensure the automation of their tax system. 5. The board shall ensure seamless flow of exchange of information among tax authorities by developing a credible taxpayer database through collaboration and synergy with relevant tax authorities aimed at identifying taxpayers across the country. 6. The Joint Tax Board will effectively commence the process of issuing a unified emblem sticker for all utility and operational vehicles across the country once approval is received from the state and local governments. The process will consider strategic partnership with both state and local government to ensure optimal success. 7. The board re-emphasized the need for vehicle owners to replace their old number plates with new ones at the point of renewal of their vehicle particulars. Therefore, enforcement on the new number plates will be effective January 2020.
We want to thank you most sincerely for watching. Do have a beautiful week ahead.
Remember, the Yuletide season is here. Drive carefully. Don't drink when you drive. If you must drink, drink water. See you next week.